Well, hello. So, I've not been doing very well at blogging my experience. I'm not a very good vlogger, but I wanted to check in. I have been trying to send updates and let people know kind of what I've been doing so far. I started back to work. So for those who aren't aware, I had a prophylactic double mastectomy about 3 months ago now. I have a BRCA2 mutation, and it's a genetic condition where it gives you a really high likelihood of developing breast cancer. So for myself, I had an 86% chance of developing breast cancer, and obviously those are not good odds. Also, because I did fertility treatments, I did IVF 2 separate times successfully. Woo! But because of that, I also had to take a lot of hormones, and a lot of breast cancers can be hormone driven. So because of that, I was taking a little more precautions with my doctors and what my plan was, and we all decided that I needed to have this double mastectomy to prevent any breast cancer. This was also 4 other people in my family also had the gene, and this year have all had double mastectomies, so it's been a very big year for us. I had that in July, and I had the type of surgery I had was a mastectomy with expanders placed, and the expanders are kind of like a fake implant. They're not very comfortable, and they put them in at the time of your surgery under your pec muscle. So when they open you up, they take out all breast tissue, all fat that goes with it, and then they slide this expander underneath your pec muscle, and they slowly will fill it with fluid. So they take this little butterfly needle, and at the top of the expander there's kind of like a little port, and you can feel it through your skin. And they find that, and they take this little butterfly needle and they inject it, and then they use a syringe and they fill it up with saline. Those are not very pleasant. So the first time I had it, I actually made a video, which is a little ignorant. I put the video on, I was like, that wasn't that bad. And then the next day I was like, it was that bad. You don't feel a ton because it's weird. You have a mixture of numbness where you can't feel a lot of your body, and then there's other times where it's really painful and you can't really understand what part's painful. It's kind of strange. But anyway, so when they do the fills, you usually go in every couple of weeks and you do these fills until you're at kind of your desired size. So the first time I went in, I didn't know anything. So she's like, well, how do you feel? I was like, well, I don't feel anything, so I guess I'm good. And she's like, I think you can do a little more. I was like, let's do it, yeah. So we did 90 cc's, and when I left the office, I was a little tight, but it wasn't that bad. And she told me, well, tomorrow when you get up, it's gonna feel like you did, like a really big chest workout, like exercising. I'm like, cool. Kind of an athlete, like I feel like I can handle that. It's safe to say she lied to me because that was like no chest workout I have ever done. So the next 2 or 3 days, I really had to recover from that very first expansion or fill, and that was just my first one. And most people do about 5 or 6 on average. So it was a little daunting thinking how many more times I was going to have to do that. The first, second, and third time were all pretty challenging. So I would have the fill, and then the rest of that day and the next day I was out of commission. Probably because I have 2 young children. So I have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. So that was really challenging because obviously I can't pick them up. I can't do a lot with them. So I think emotionally that was hard as well. But it was short-lived. After about 3 days after the fills, I was feeling much better. It was just very, very tight, so it was uncomfortable to use your arms at all. Sometimes even taking a big breath and having all your tissue just stretch was really uncomfortable. But again, just for a couple of days. And then at about 2 months out, I went back to work. So I'm an occupational therapist. I actually work with oncology patients who are undergoing the same type of surgery as me, which is kind of nice because I have a very different outlook and understanding of what my patients go through. But I've been working for about 5 weeks now, and I'm actually preparing for my reconstruction. So I wanted to jump on and kind of touch base. My reconstruction is scheduled for October 7th, so a week and a half from now. I am removing the expanders that I currently have and then replacing them with implants. I'm also going to share some information about implants because there's a lot of misconceptions and some fears about just what type of reconstruction is the best option. Implants are not the only option. There's a lot of different ones, but it was actually one of the only options for me because of my body type and a few other factors. So later on I'm going to do kind of an informative video about reconstructive options. You can do stuff where you're using your own body tissue to recreate breast. Some people don't do any reconstruction. A lot of people do implants, and that was the best route for me. So I will be going in on October 7th and having my surgery, and I'll have my drains again, so that part kind of sucks. Some of y'all probably saw from my videos before. They're not going to be as dramatic, hopefully, as the first time, but I will have hopefully just one drain on each side, and they kind of put it in your rib cage. So when I wake up, I will have my same incision reopened, take out the expander, put in the new implant, sewn back up, and then have 2 drains placed, and that helps to keep out any fluid that's accumulating, so it decreases my chance of infection. And a lot of times after a surgery like this, you just get a lot of fluid in there. So I'll only have those in hopefully a week. Let's be praying for that. And it's supposed to be a shorter recovery. The first one was definitely, it was a lot harder than I anticipated. I guess I thought because I knew a lot about it, for some reason that would make it not hurt as bad, which is really stupid. But the second time around, I've heard from everybody that it's a much smoother surgery. It's just not as in depth because they've already done all the hard stuff in the very first one. So I'm excited for that, and I'm feeling really good. I actually got to go to church today and raise my arms and worship, and I didn't have any pain with that. I've been doing a lot of actually physical therapy. I developed a thing called cording or axillary web syndrome, which I'm also going to make a little video about that, but it is a little bit of an unknown of what it actually consists of, but it's kind of like scar tissue that forms from your rib cage underneath your armpit and goes down your arm, and it can be painful when you go to raise your arm. It feels like there's a cord that is pulling on you, and it makes you want to withdraw your arm and pull it back in because it's uncomfortable. So I have a great therapist who's been working on me and helping some of that irregular scar tissue and breaking that down. So I'm looking forward to it. You know, I know sometimes I look at my videos and I feel like I come off as too happy and too peppy, like it's not as serious as a thing. But I just feel like through all of this, I've always known that I've been protected. I really feel like God has given me the knowledge and the wisdom to seek this type of stuff out and not be living in fear about what if I have this gene and what if I have to have this surgery, but more of it's probable that I have this gene and it's probable I'm going to have surgery, so let me find the best doctors and not be living in fear with it, but just know that I'm strong enough to handle it and that God's going to walk me through it. And I know it seems like I'm just making light of it, but I'm not. It's been heavy. There's been a lot of hard moments, but I've just felt so happy and confident knowing that I have an amazing husband who's been with me through all of this. I have a great team of doctors who are very knowledgeable, and I have a lot of family who's going through the exact same thing, so they can definitely understand more than your average person would. And I'm just really grateful. You know, I'm happy that this next phase is almost done, and hopefully I don't have any more surgeries. But just wanted to share with y'all. You know, if you have questions, I'm definitely an open book. I've had a lot of people reach out about what doctors I've been seeing, how to get tested. It's relatively easy procedure and testing. So if y'all have questions, you know, feel free to ask, and hope it goes well. Thanks, y'all.